Serbian feelings for the Russia is more historical, culture. Journalists are the biggest enemy of almost any state. Every possible way of stopping news are against the democracy. I'm Vladan Alimpijević. I am producer and editor of the foreign desk in N1 with the centers in Belgrade, Ljubljana, Sarajevo and Zagreb. That means we are covering 4 countries of the ex-Yugoslavia. N1 is a hard news channel 24/7. I was a war reporter with camera, and I used to be one person as a reporter, as a camera operator, and as a fixer and producer and everything. It's happened that I catch some languages on my trips, that I catch on my education. I am familiar with most of the Slavic languages, but I speak quite well Bulgarian and Czech and Russian, and also Italian, Spanish, and English. I can speak, in fact, but not professionally, Albanian and Greek and Romanian. I can understand German because I used to work 3 years for the Österreichische Rundfunk, and a long time ago I was also able to chit-chat a little bit on the Chinese. Now you have almost all Russian media blocked. And Karl Necherman is in Moscow, no pictures, nothing.
And what do you do then?
I will draw him.
We'll draw him? Really?
With blocking of the Russian websites and Russian media, we don't have possibility to even to see fake news. That means we can't judge what's going on because we can't see any news. When we had this issue with the Islamic State, I never seen that their social media and their websites was blocked. I mean, we was always able to see their side of story, and we know that everything on their website was a fake news. Now we can't see even this fake news. Now I have to make a photo session of him. Getting of fake news from one source and recognizing them as a fake news, giving us as a journalist possibility to see how producer of the fake news think, what is his intention, what he's trying to hide maybe. Simply giving us possibility to read among the lines. With cutting all of this, we can't see anything. Sometimes we are blind. The internet is blocked. Great, democracy. I mean, you can't see anything. That's what probably Putin liked very much.
Do you think it was a bad decision to block the sites from Russia?
No, it's a crime. It's not a bad decision. Every possible way of stopping news are against the democracy. Okay, let's have a cigarette. Choosing of news have 2 different levels. One is attitude, previous knowledge, maybe prejudice. All this is called policy of the house. The second thing is which resources do you have, and how you can check, are they reliable, are they, is there any fake news or so. That means when you're starting to do news, you have to be very quickly. Responding time is very important because you have to be as fast as possible. Of course, now we depend on the news agencies, but also we are checking some other social networks.
Let's do this. Ubijaju ranjenog ruskog vojnika.
Čiji je ovo snimak?
New York Times ga je objavio.
A čiji je snimak?
Ne znam se.
Ne bih jednostavno. Mislim, prvo je ubistvo na televiziji nikad ne pošto možda godine.
Vidiš šta kažeš.
New York Post, ne. Tamo sa Telegrama su skinuli neki snimak, pitanje autentičnosti. Ne bih ja to dao. Ja sad čekamo šta će biti.
Ali ovi napišu New York Times, jebate.
Ну, это ключевой, самый главный вопрос. У нас большой опыт верификации, у нас есть отдел даты, у нас есть отдел верификации. Мы, конечно, смотрим, где что расположено, где какие объекты. У нас есть видеомонтажер, который видео разбирает на кусочки по кадрам. Ну, таким образом мы верифицируем, мы ищем место на Google картах, мы смотрим, кто это, спрашиваем знакомых, узнают ли они эти места и соответствуют ли эти места тому, что есть на Google картах и на фотографиях. Но это такая большая работа идет. У нас нет, к сожалению, спутниковых снимков, как у New York Times, но зато мы смогли верифицировать все места.
No, we will not believe in this.
No?
Because I can't see and I can't see the exact source. It's probably from Telegram, but you can't get any information. I will mention only this, that there is some news which we can't say are they true, that's all.
What could happen if you show it and it's not real?
You're losing reputation. We have one media who, first day of the war, of invasion, appear with the cover page, Ukraine attacked Russia, which is probably the most stupid cover page I've seen in my life. It's very easy to understand that President Vučić is controlling most of the media in Serbia, but generally Serbian feelings for the Russia is more historical, culture, and so it's not that most of the people are supporting the war. Obviously NATO is involved in this conflict. NATO is not an organization in Serbia which have much support. Most of the people in fact hate NATO because of the action in 1999.
Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Ein Ende der NATO-Luftangriffe gegen Jugoslawien ist nicht absehbar. Vor etwa einer halben Stunde zeichneten sich neue Angriffe auf Jugoslawien ab. Von italienischen Stützpunkten starteten mehrere NATO-Kampfflugzeuge. Die NATO hat in der vergangenen Nacht mit einem gezielten Luftangriff das Hauptgebäude des jugoslawischen Staatsfernsehens zerstört. Nach Belgrader Regierungsangaben wurden 10 Menschen getötet und zahlreiche andere verletzt.
I'm starting with the NATO meeting. That means I will put some second of this. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ukraine, said that he's going there to ask just for 3 things: arms, arms, and arms.
In our recent editorial, we asked the Western governments and NATO to, consider the ways to, help Ukraine. We understand that, NATO is likely not going to cover the, protect the Ukrainian sky because it wants to, quote, avoid full-fledged war between Europe and Russia. We need more sanctions, we need more weapons, because what we saw in Bucha is only a tip of the iceberg, so we don't know what's happening in other cities. Obviously, the sanctions and the Western precautions have not been enough to stop the Kremlin from, its military actions in Ukraine. Shortly after we called for a land release in our latest editorial, the US Senate, they approved to do this for Ukraine. The Biden administration can send weapons to Ukraine more efficiently.
President Biden has confirmed comments that he made in which he accused the Russian president of committing genocide in Ukraine.
I called it genocide because it's become clearer and clearer that Putin is just trying to wipe out the idea of even being able to be a Ukrainian.
It's not a problem that Russia is criticized, have to be criticized. Everyone have to be not only criticized, everyone have to be punished for the war crimes. But two things I'm suspicious. First is very easily using of the word genocide, because that means that you are neglecting real victims of genocide, real victims of something which has seen in about Jewish, we've seen in Rwanda, we've seen in some other countries when one state or one nation is trying to destroy another country or another nation. If you're talking about war crimes, they are not easier than genocide. Rekao je britanski ministar oružanih snaga. Iz Mariupolja i danas je organizovano 9 konvoja za one koji su uspeli da se na njih ukrcaju. Ne njih, na njega. Iz Mariupolja i danas je organizovano 9 konvoja za one koji su uspeli da se na njih ukrcaju. Oni koji ostaju i dalje su u paklu kome se ne nazire kraj. Vladan Alimpijević, N1. They're starting in 2 minutes.
Dobro večer. Gledate N1 dnevnik, ja sam Maja.
We try to rely on our own sources. And that is more complicated and more expensive and more objective way to get a real news. Because of that, we send a lot of people, 7, 8 reporters to Ukraine, to the borders. Just a few other reporters from Serbia was there. Just a few. And it's very interesting. Most of them on the Russian side. I think that this obvious changing of the public opinion in Serbia, which have more understanding for Ukraine now, I hope that it is a little bit the result of our work.